Golden State, Boston, Cleveland, Houston, OKC, Minnesota feel like all-star teams. Of the 24 all-stars in the NBA last year, 8 have moved. Okay? This player movement is fantastic. Mobility is great for all people, especially professional athletes. For all of you that said this was going to kill the league, KD to the Warriors, ask yourself, is Paul George more interesting in Indianapolis playing with C.J. Miles and Lance Stevenson and Jeff Teague and George Hill and Miles Turner through the years? Or is Paul George more interesting playing with Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony? And I can't think of a time in my life where we literally have a season with 6 to 7 all-star teams. D-Wade to Cleveland, Melo to OKC. It's about time players had choices. And I love what has happened over the last 2 to 3 years in the NBA.
All right, it's been a long offseason. And this offseason was unlike any other offseason we've ever seen in the past. I mean, think about this. Since LeBron James won his first MVP in the 08-09 season, there's been 4 other MVP winners. Derrick Rose, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Russell Westbrook. Now, last year, Curry and Durant teamed up. This year, LeBron and D. Rose teamed up. And even if Russell Westbrook doesn't have any MVPs, he does have Paul George and Carmelo Anthony, so he ain't complaining, especially after penning that $205 million contract extension. But how did we get here? All right, let's move to draft night, June 22nd, 2017. And it was a very much anticipated day. With the Lakers picking up the 2nd overall pick, who would they draft? Lonzo Ball, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, Carmelo Anthony, all on the trading block? But it seems every year there are stars on the trading block. So just as expected, Markelle Fultz was taken by the Sixers 1st overall. And now it was the Lakers' turn to pick.
With the 2nd pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Lonzo Ball from UCLA.
All right, that's taken care of. No surprises so far.
We got a big one already, Reese, and Jimmy Butler has been reunited with his former coach, Tom Thibodeau, in Minnesota. In the deal, Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and the number 7 pick go to Chicago. In return, Jimmy Butler, all-star, along with the number 16 pick, going in return. So this is our first big one, Reese. Jimmy Butler on the move.
What? Jimmy Butler actually got traded? Yep, his old coach, Tom Thibodeau, made the move to team him up with his young superstars, Wiggins and Towns. The T-Wolves continue to get better this offseason by adding Jamal Crawford, multiple 6th Man of the Year, and Jeff Teague, and another ex-player of Thibodeau, Taj Gibson. But let's not stop here. There's much more to get to. Well, we all remember good old Phil Jackson. He dragged Carmelo Anthony through the mud for so long, people started to believe he actually belonged there. Except when it came to trying to trade him, they always said, he's worth more than that. The Clippers were one of the teams trying to pry him away from the Knicks. All they had to do was give up Austin Rivers, Doc Rivers' son. But because Doc Rivers was not only coach but also GM, he would have to accept it. And reportedly, coaching his son was more important than improving his team. And that is when Chris Paul lost trust and faith in his coach. When the season ended, Chris Paul was prepared to opt out of his contract and enter free agency. But instead, this happened.
Breaking news today happened about 15 minutes ago. Chris Paul's Clipper career is officially over in what I would call a shocking move. Chris Paul now goes to the Rockets. Your backcourt of Chris Paul and James Harden is going to be absolutely remarkably interesting.
Now it's an arms race. Teams are saying that there are obvious rebuilding teams and obvious contending teams, and no in between. Pick a side. And after Russell Westbrook won the MVP, the Thunder had no choice but to go all in. And all in they did.
Well, I'm kind of surprised by it, but again, you're talking about a credible general manager in Sam Presti. He's going to prepare for the future. Obviously, they're going to have a lot of faith in Russell Westbrook. But if this is just a one-year rental and Paul George decides to leave, then you're talking about Oklahoma City rebuilding and positioning themselves to do that. In the case
July 1st started the moratorium, allowing teams to start speaking with players and agents and even getting commitments. However, they're not allowed to sign yet. Let's look back at some of the top free agents this summer and see where they ended up. We'll move up north where Serge Ibaka and Kyle Lowry signed with the Toronto Raptors. Paul Millsap left Atlanta to play for the Denver Nuggets on a 3-year deal. Blake Griffin ended up re-signing with the Clippers. MVPs Steph Curry and Kevin Durant re-signed in Golden State. Interestingly, Durant took $7 million less than the max, allowing the Warriors to re-sign Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston, keeping the bunch together. The only question left now is Gordon Hayward, and he announced on the Players Tribune he's headed to the Boston Celtics to play for his college coach.
I know what they're trying to do, Skip. They're going to say, well, now we have somebody that can challenge LeBron. Really? Mm-hmm. Okay, so instead of losing 4-1, you lose 4-2. You might win 2 or 3 more games. But really, do you actually think Gordon Hayward is the piece that's going to put you over the Cavs? And in process of signing him, guess what you're going to have to do, Skip? You're probably going to have to say goodbye to Jay Crowder.
So for once, I agree with every point you just made. But what should be your bottom line conclusion to everything you just said? It should be that Gordon Hayward just made a big mistake. Okay. It should be that Gordon Hayward will ultimately long-term regret the decision he just made.
They want to sign you for a whole season.
Yo.
What?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yo. Ooh.
Are you
Ooh.
serious? I am so serious.
Ooh.
And it's the big moment. This is like a big step. Yes, celebrate. This is fun.
We gon' 3 points.
Good rhythm.
All night.
Okay, enough of this. Please, he's got to rest.
Now it's time for all NBA players to take their final vacations before starting the new season. I mean, if you're the Warriors or the Cavs, you've basically had 3 months of rest each of the last 3 years. And LeBron individually, the last 7 years. You know, they say there's a time and a place for everything. And nobody expected this at that time.
Got some news that got everybody in this room a little bit worked up. Kyrie Irving requests a trade from the Cavs. LeBron James was blindsided and is disappointed.
Look, who doesn't want this right now? But the drama, the soap opera that we all saw coming is now here. It's
Cleveland Cavaliers, baby. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Woo! Yeah. All right, calm down. Give this man some space.
What's wrong, Doc?
What you mean, what's wrong? Don't forget, this is the same little kid from way back who used to sit in my chair and take naps.
Yeah, but Doc, now these are NBA naps. You feel me?
I hear you. Right? I hear you.
Hey, I appreciate you guys so much, man. This feels like the first time I can actually celebrate, not care who's watching, just do me, you know?
It is.
Isn't this crazy, Doc?
And hold on to this moment. But remember, stay humble.
Of course.
Don't let it go to your head, because if it do, I'll take these clippers and remind you where you came from.
Yeah, and try these on. Not the new JBLs. Come on, fellas.
Yep, man. Jules pitched in and got you one side each.
Yeah, I'm on the left.
There's an inscription on it, too. Look.
Oh, block out the noise. Remember where you came from and where you're headed. Whenever you need to get in the zone, put these headphones on.
Abraham Lincoln. Look at that.
That's crazy.
That's from us, man. And if anything ever gets too loud, I want you to put these on, block out all the noise, just think about the barbershop and where you from.
I will, Doc.
Yeah, maybe hook your boys up with some tickets.
Oh, yeah, you know I got you guys on the tickets.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
No problem.
We want to sit on the court next to all the cameramen. So when an NBA player misses a layup, he can land on us and crush one of those weird bones that we never heard of.
Nobody, and when I say nobody, I mean nobody could understand why this happened. Of course, there were all types of rumors and reports, but I definitely don't have time to get into all of them. However, simply put, Kyrie didn't like LeBron. Just didn't like him. The thing is that the Cavs were not required to honor the trade request either. Kyrie has 2 years and a player option left on his contract. But not only did they honor it, they sent him to their only true competition in the East, the Boston Celtics. But the questions of why he left never went away.
Our next guest is an NBA champion, a four-time All-Star. He's embarking on a new chapter in his career this season after being traded from the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Boston Celtics in pursuit of being the leader of his own squad. We welcome Kyrie Irving.
What happened, man? Because it just seemed like, 1 minute you're in the championship, you're in the finals, you're hugging LeBron, you're happy to be in Cleveland, you're looking forward to coming back to compete for another championship, and then the next minute you want out. What happened?
I was just very patient in my approach, understanding what the magnitude of the moment was. I wasn't going to allow anything else to get in the way of our team's success. So I was just very diligent, very professional in terms of this whole entire process. And the request came at a time where I felt it deemed right for me. As a 25-year-old evolving man, coming in to perfect my craft every single day, I just wanted to be in an environment where I felt like I could be taught every single day.
So you just gave indications that this has been something that was stirring and percolating for a little while. Like you knew that you was approaching this moment. You just didn't want to be a distraction to the team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I was just very patient within those moments because I knew that the importance wasn't in my ego or anything that existed from the reasons on why I would come into work every single day and not give 100% and not give my teammates everything that I had. And there were times when after games I would go out and shoot. As any professional athlete or any person knows, when you're in your workplace and you have those tough days, there are questions that you ask yourself, is this the right thing for me right now? And I answered that question myself.
I'm exhausted, but so is Carmelo Anthony, who's still sitting in New York with Media Day right around the corner. He tells the front office that he's willing to waive his no-trade clause for more teams because he feels it would be a distraction for him to be at Media Day and it would take away from the rest of the team. All right? Good team player, because they say he's not. Anyway, they said, okay, you want to go to the Thunder with Paul George and Russell Westbrook? And don't worry, all we want is Enes Kanter.
Hell yes! I can't believe people are underselling what Oklahoma City did. Oklahoma City already had the MVP. They already had a playoff team. They somehow have flipped Victor Oladipo for Paul George, essentially, and now Enes Kanter for Carmelo Anthony. They have added a top 12 player in Paul George, a top 25 player in Carmelo Anthony, and they didn't give up a single top 75 player.
I can't wait until this season kicks off. I mean, look at everything that's happened. Excuse me. I didn't put my phone. 1 second. Hello? Yeah, what's up? What? You lying. Woo! Hey, I gotta go. Excuse me. Sorry about that. We interrupt this program to bring you more breaking news.
Okay, so I have the privilege of introducing a guy that needs no introduction. We'd like to introduce Dwayne Wade as the newest Cleveland Cavalier.
Hey, Dwayne, I don't know if it was any part of a bigger plan or anything, but did you feel like you and LeBron would reunite at some point?
No.
No?
It's, things like this, you just don't plan it. It just happens.
Training camps have started and some preseason games are underway. Doesn't it feel good? But what if this would have happened?
This is fascinating to me. So the thought that PG and Carmelo had a deal to be in Cleveland on draft night, your take?
That's scary.
Why is that scary?
LeBron, PG, and Melo on the same team? That's scary. That's scary.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
That's super scary.
You said that's cheating. Is it different than them facing the Warriors? The Warriors are just as loaded. Is that the equivalent?
No.
Why?
You have PG, Braun, and Melo. I would just go as megastars. I would just go KD and Steph. So that's 2 against 3.
Who knows what would have happened then? Would Kyrie have asked for the trade? Would Russell Westbrook have signed that Supermax extension? Would Kevin Durant have even re-signed with the Warriors? Who knows? Thanks for watching my video. Click that thumbs up if you liked it. And if you have any suggestions, slide down into the comment section and leave it there. And lastly, if you want more of my content, subscribe, because this is only the beginning. Thanks again. Now here's some preseason action.
We're in the ball game for about 3.5 quarters and wound up losing. Wait, with a quick steal.
Quick steal right away, Fred. We're not letting him go to his strong side. Gets a steal.
Kevin Love airs it out. Let's move, but he missed it. Very good at getting to the rim. Number 2 in Lincoln tries here to go. Running the floor. The backboard got him. Wade spins to the hole.
When you get a chance to be around him, you realize he is
Irving to the bucket. Marcus. Little finger roll. No.
Kid Gilchrist kicks it over to Walker. Walker's going to have to shoot it to beat the clock. He does.
And Michigan, a guy from Flint, so magic like that. Lonzo for 3.
In those games last year, it's Chris Paul, one of the best in the business, kicks the pocket of his former teammate Raymond Felton right off the bat. And then finishing second to Russell Westbrook.
Playing other teams and how they defend your guys. And Chris Paul always getting his hand on basketballs. Oh, nice shot by Paul George.